you're trying to reach your goal. You've got this kind of uphill climb. So you're here. This is where you are now. So I'm a big proponent about like visualization and like kind of playing it as a movie in your mind. Like if you've seen my New Year's journaling visualization exercise, it's kind of like journaling and dreaming about your dream life. And I think that that's very important. I really like, I wouldn't take that away. So if you do like a 10-year visualization, I think that's so important. So one thing that I would do is, so if you've done your 10-year visualization, like what's my dream life? I wake up on just a Wednesday. What is my life like? One thing that you need to take stock of is in that future, what sorts of things do you have? What sorts of belongings do you have? Do you have friends? Do you have pets? Do you have kids? What things do you have? What kind of person will you be? Are you a joyful person? Are you a healthy person? Are you a fit person? Things like that. And then what sorts of things do you do? What do you do in your spare time in that dream life? Do you go to work? Do you bike? Do you walk? What sorts of things do you do? It's sort of like have, be, do. I got this concept from Tony Robbins, but where, like, you need to take stock of these things in that dream life. And I think what a lot of people really focus on are these haves. Like, I'm so excited to have $1 million, or I'm so excited to have my student loans paid off, or different things that they're excited to have. And this is where kind of this paradox comes in. So I'm going to kind of call this, it's kind of the mindset paradox when it comes to reaching your goals. You need to, at the same time, be so enthusiastic and so excited about your goals and have faith that they're going to happen and be so excited with those things. And at the same time, you need to be so excited and enthusiastic and grateful for the life that you have right now. Because, like, here's the thing. This be part is one of the most important things. So this person, you're not going to wake up 10 years from now and you're going to just be this joyful, grateful, blissful person. Like, a lot of people imagine their dream life and they're like, wow, it's so dreamy, it's so great. But that's not going to just wake up and happen. There are dominoes that need to fall along the way for you to be that person. So what you need to do is you need to be happy and blissful and joyful, whatever those things are that you're putting off for 10 years from now. You need to be all of those things now. It's so important that you learn to be blissful, joyful, happy now. So you say to yourself, okay, what sorts of things supposedly made me so blissful then? And you have to develop practices that make you so blissful, so happy now. Because here's the deal. Now has consequences. Good and bad. You know, you do good things now, you have good consequences. You do bad things now, you have bad consequences. And so now has consequences, and those consequences create your future. So basically what you're doing now creates your future. So you can look back now and you can say, what was I doing 6 months ago? And that is what has created this time now. How was your mindset 6 months ago? And that's created what you're experiencing now. What was your thought life like 6 months ago? What was your mindset like 6 months ago? What was your mindset, your emotions, all that jazz? What was that like 6 months ago? And that creates the reality you're living in now. So if you want all these dominoes to fall into the direction of your dream life, you have to learn to be blissful now. And so there are important things that you'll have to learn to do. I think there are two sides to kind of this paradox. There are some people, I probably fall into this category, that are so goal-oriented, they're so dream-oriented, constantly trying to better themselves. But if you're not careful, it can actually come from a place of lack. It can come from a place of, I don't feel good enough about myself, I'm not happy with my life, things are not enough. And you're focused on that lack. And when you're focused on the lack, you're not going to create something great. Like, you don't create a dreamy, joyful, blissful life from a place of lack. So you don't want to sit there thinking about how much you don't have and how much you're not living up to your expectations now. And you don't want that to be the driver that's fueling you. The other type of people are the people that are like, well, you know what, I'll just be really complacent with what's going on right now. You know what, I'm just so grateful for how it is right now. I'm not going to set any goals. I don't need to worry about the future. I'm just doing things great right now. But what can happen is that can be fueled by some like laziness. That can be fueled by insecurity. Like, I'm actually so insecure and so afraid of what might happen then that I'm just not going to do anything. So I think both types of people really need to cultivate some skills. So if you're kind of in that complacent category, or I don't want to call it complacent, it's really a fearful category. I mean, it's really just two different ways that fear can manifest in these two different types of people, is you're going to have to learn to take some big leaps. These kind of represent the big leaps, the big risks. You're going to have to learn to do that because you become such a stronger person. And so just learning to take the next big step. So some of these big leaps, I mean, it's different from person to person. This could be moving to a new city. This could be getting married. This could be getting divorced. This could be a lot of different big life changes. But they can also just be risks that you need to take. Maybe it's, filming your first YouTube video. It's, the big push, posting your first Instagram post, writing your first song. Like, here's some big leaps of bravery. And this is developing you into that person that you want to be 10 years from now, because these dominoes need to fall. You need to become that person. And to become that person, you're going to have to make some big choices to get there. The other thing that the other group of people need to do is this B category. You need to focus on who you're becoming in the present moment. So that's something that, since I'm in the category of people that tends to just try to barrel ahead. I'm not enough now, but I will be in the future, maybe if I make myself into something. It's important to become loving to yourself now. It's important to value yourself, to value your surroundings, to be grateful. And I think a gratitude practice is so important for these people. I mentioned the 5-minute journal in every video I do, but I'm serious. Gratitude has created a very blissful experience for me. It's something that everyone recommends to do, you know what I mean? And for some reason, it just doesn't seem like the cool thing to do, so people don't want to do it. But it makes you enjoy your life now. And if you're joyful now, you're creating a joyful future 6 months from now. And you create a habit of being joyful, a habit of thinking toward the positive things, and a habit of not thinking toward the ways that you lack. So this is kind of the big important thing that people need to do. And one thing for some people are really career oriented, like I'm kind of in that bubble. And so 10 years from now, I'm still, at my age, I'm still going to be in a career place. And so sometimes I don't think about what I want to do in my spare time. So sometimes for some people, it's really important to look at okay, actually, when you're 66 years old, I picked that because that's a year after retirement age. So if you're 66-year-old, what are you going to do in your dream life and how are you going to spend your time? And that informs if you met all these career goals, what are you even going to do with it? What is even the point for you that you would even want to do with it? So yeah, I would just say to work on your mindset, work on this mindset paradox, and figure out, do you have a harder time being excited and enthusiastic about the future, or do you have a harder time being excited and enthusiastic about the present? And whichever one that you tend to struggle with more, I think it's really important to work on that mindset, because you cannot have a blissful, joyful future 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if you don't ever start creating that mindset. So it really is a myth that there's this dream life out there, and once you get all these things, then you're going to be happy. You're going to be the same person 10 years from now. It's just a matter of, will you have developed the skills of bravery? Will you have developed the skills of gratitude and really become a better person? So I recommend journaling. I recommend reading. And I do recommend meditating. I discovered this app a couple months ago. It's really good. It's called Superhuman. It is $30 a month, so that's something. But to me, it's been impactful enough in my life. I really value feelings of joy and bliss. I value those so highly in my life, and I just find that if I do those things in the morning, it just really catapults my day in a really great direction, and I value those things so much. So for me, $30 a month is worth it. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. It's kind of a weird paradox, being grateful for the present and yet still excited for the future, but it's so important to kind of master that tension as you're reaching your goals. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.